in a world full of people trying to be tough 24/7, I'm gonna show you that we're all marshmallows on the inside. I was not looking at the camera because my brother is right behind the camera and it's not making me focus. You can show up now. And cue in the opening music. All right.
on the track, boy.
So hi, welcome back to my channel yet again, another time. So I'm really excited to be making this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe down below, hit the like button. It sure does help me a lot, and share with someone that might want to listen to these relationship things that no one told us about, you know? Like, I didn't sign up for this kind of bullshit. No, just kidding. We all signed up for that love and that attention. So these 7 things that no one told me is not just things that no one told me, it's things that no one really cares to explain. Over the years when I had my relationships, I figured out that relationships are sold to us to be, to look simpler and easier than what they actually are. Let's be fully honest right now that we're starting the video. Relationships are not easy at all, but that doesn't mean they're not incredibly worth it. So, at number 1, we have this baby. Every person has their own love language. Now this one, I recently found it out. This means that everyone has their own particular way of being loved and showing their love in a natural way. Now, this doesn't mean that you cannot say to the other person exactly what you like and what you need. For example, some people don't like romance at all. They're totally fine without having that. Some people actually don't need receiving gifts. And some people, for example, I love receiving little surprises. You know, like flowers or a little written text. I don't mind that at all, and I actually really appreciate it. I'm not, you know, I'm a romantic person, but I'm not extremely romantic, because if it's too extremely romantic, then I'm like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. I really, for example, my love language, I really appreciate great quality time and us doing new things together, going to new places together. Quality time and things made by you for me are great for me. Now, there are people that are the complete opposite of me, and time is necessary for you to figure out what you like and what the other person likes. So at number 2, every relationship is unique and a world of its own. I actually had a lot of trouble figuring this one out, because it's not a lie that every relationship is unique, you know. And for me to put that in my head, you know, it took me a while, bitch. Because they sell us these relationships when you start, and in the beginning everything is perfect. They tell us that as soon as a betrayal happens, the relationship is over. No more talking about it. If someone betrays, then that person is a piece of shit, and the conversation. People don't even communicate. But then I came to listen to so many stories of relationships that went through the unimaginable, and I just think, man, every relationship is so unique and works in such a different way. For example, what makes every relationship unique, one thing that I also found out, is that every relationship has their own rules. Even a relationship that is the most standard monogamous relationship that you can imagine, they might have their own set of rules. For example, my mother and my father, they agreed that my mother would take care of the education of one of my brothers, and my dad wouldn't intervene. And this deal works for them due to our history. Now, if it were up to me, if it were my family and my children, this wouldn't work for me, but it works for them. So every relationship is a world. And trust me when I say there is not a single book, you know, there is not one book that has all the rules that you need and all the things that will be fitting for your relationship. So at number 3, relationships demand sacrifices. But what the hell is a sacrifice, and what type of sacrifice can you do? This one is a tricky one, fellas, because when we talk about sacrifices, we talk about boundaries. Those things come hand in hand, because you have to know what you can sacrifice, and you absolutely must know what you can't sacrifice. That's where boundaries are created. You know, for example, for someone, giving up smoking might be good. You know, it's a bad habit. You know, they pass through the house with the smell of tobacco or weed. But for others, maybe smoking is a way that they can release some steam. You know, and for some people, I've seen that smoking weed or tobacco really helps out with their anxiety. So it's a part of them that they cannot give up, even if you think it's wrong. So I've seen myself in relationships of the past sacrificing parts of me, like for example, time with my friends, things that I like doing, and sacrificing parts of myself that made me who I am. And these sacrifices, slowly but surely, just started making me wither away slowly. And I just stopped being myself because I thought the relationship needed these sacrifices. Now, it is true that relationships demand sacrifices and good and healthy boundaries. But the moment the relationship becomes a bleeding out for the other person, like, oh, a relationship is a sacrifice, I must endure this all the time, then that is not a relationship. That is a religious precision, you know. It's self-torture. That is masochism. Oh, the relationship. God. There's not even sexual attraction anymore. There's just this, oh my God, I'm such a good person to be sacrificing everything. Oh. Lord Almighty. Sexual attraction, gone. Love and sharing the other person, gone. Oh, and most importantly, loving yourself, gone. Gone. So, the tricky thing about sacrifice is that you gotta figure out by yourself what boundaries are yours and what sacrifices can you make. And this is the tricky part. Everyone has their own thing, you know. This is something that you gotta figure out on your own. And it took me a while to figure them out, honey, and I'm still trying to figure them out, because it's a continuous game of what you can do and what you can't do, all right? But it's worth it. Okay, so at number 4, time is relative. You always hear in movies, oh, the third date is the date that you can have sex with somebody. Oh, only after 2 years is the time where you can take them to your family. Oh, only after a couple of years you can marry them. I've actually heard about stories of people that married after the five first months of being dating. I've heard people, oh, there's this big one, when it's the right time to say I love you. Some people say, oh, after 6 months. Oh, after the first 3 months you can already say it. It's when it feels right. That's why time is so relative. For example, I know of this couple that before they were dating, they decided that they would stay friends for a couple of years first to see if it would work. And now they're dating for 6 years now. And I know this story of this couple that, you know, out of a friend's prank, the guy went and asked a stranger to marry him. And she said yes, and they're married to this day. This was probably 20 years ago, because it is a very old story. So let me tell you that time is absolutely relative, both for loving relationships and for friendships. It depends on what feels right for both of you and for you. At number 5, this is a big one. I love talking about sexuality. Intimacy, Intimacy is more than sexuality. Honey, when I tell you that I felt attacked, you know, I thought I was a very intimate person with all my boyfriends. I had sex with almost all of my boyfriends, so I thought I'm so intimate with them. Our intimacy is so good. And now let me tell you that the intimacy that I had with my past boyfriends was shite. That is shit in German, I think. Intimacy is a lot about you showing your vulnerable side, and feeling safe at it. This is a very deep sharing of feelings and emotional states that you can't do with the other person. For example, one very intimate thing is sleeping together. That is more intimate for most of people than having sex with someone else, and I agree. I can more quick have sex. I have, for example, one night stand than sleeping with that person. Like cozying in together and sleeping in the same bed. For me, it seems more intimate. For example, going out for lunch for me is very intimate. Sharing my food with someone is very intimate. Sharing my silence with someone is also something that we all don't notice, but it's also very intimate. Because when was the last time that you sat comfortably with someone in silence? Not because there was nothing to talk about and you don't have nothing to talk about with that person because you just don't want to talk, but because you're just okay with just their company. That is so intimate and so beautiful, and we confused it with only sexuality. And don't get me wrong, sexuality is a form of intimacy, but it's not the only form. Let's not forget about that. At number 6, it's one of my favorites, and this is a saying that I made up for myself and that I still live by to this day. I'm 21, by the way. The people closest to your heart will be the one who hurt you the most. This is actually very simple logic, You have this circle around you, the circle where you allow your most intimate friends and partners to step in. And outside of that circle, now this is not a linear circle. This is just a very good example of reality. Inside you have your intimate partners and your friends and your family, and outside you have strangers, work colleagues or something, people that are not that close to you. For the simple fact that they are closest to your heart, anything that they will do that feels a bit wrong will hurt you the most, because you care about what they think. You care about them, and you want to be cared for by them. So when they hurt you, it feels a lot worse because they're closest to your heart. And now, when we go into a relationship, we think that this person will never hurt us. This will be the person that will make me feel the best. This person will never break my heart. And that is absolutely wrong. I'm having a wonderful relationship right now during the quarantine. It has been very complicated, and we've had some rough patches, not just on this relationship, but also in past relationships. I knew that the people who I was with loved me, or tried their best to do it. We're not all perfect. That's why the relationships are now past. But there will be times where a person will show you their worst side, or be just straight up mean, or just do something that you don't like and break your heart. But that doesn't mean it has to be over. That doesn't mean the relationship is unhealthy. It just means that they will hurt you the most because they're closer to you. And that's part of it. And last but not least, I love saying last but not least. English is such an easy language, for me at least. Everyone is difficult. This one is very special to me because I'm still trying to assimilate it. I'm still trying to learn it, because I always thought that I was one of the most difficult persons that anyone could meet. But then when I started growing up, I started, meeting new people, traveling, and, really maturing, I just started to look at myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm not that bad. I'm actually closest to normal than I thought I was. And when you go into a relationship, I know this might sound like I'm exaggerating, but we're looking for this partner that gives us everything, that is everything, which is perfection. And this is so wrong. Like, people say, no, I don't look for a perfect partner, I don't mind someone imperfect. That is bullshit. It is bullshit. We have this thing in our relationship when someone disappoints us, or when someone has a cranky side, when someone has some mania, just because people have these things that are totally normal for everyone. We just might, this is a bad person, it doesn't fit me, so we must discard them. everyone has their bad days. Everyone has that bad side of them that you're gonna meet and you're gonna be like, oh my fucking god, I hate this side of this person. It's so mean, it's so selfish. But then it is also your responsibility to your heart and to the other person to see what you're able to deal, because let's face it, you're not forced to deal with anything in a relationship. You can just leave. It's up to you to decide what you can deal with or not. So you decide whether you want to deal with the cranky side of a person, with the more selfish and prideful side of a person. But everyone has this side. Now, if somebody up in this house, up in this planet Earth, come at me being a perfect Buddha, I'm gonna get worried, because my experience is when someone is a perfect Buddha, always calm, unaffected by everything, I'm scared of these people, because my experience is sooner or later, more sooner than later, they're gonna bring out this carpet, this list of things that have been bothering over the weeks, over the months, and some over the years, and just explode in your face, and you didn't even knew that you were doing shit wrong, because they never told you so. If you find this person that is a perfect Buddha, that never gets bothered, that never gets angry, get worried, you know, because especially when you start gaining time in a relationship and you felt like you had a couple bumps along the way, months are going by, years are going by, and you did not have a single fight with this person, a single argument with this person, that is strange, because every relationship has their arguments. So here it is on the 7 things no one told me or cared to really explain in relationships. I love making videos like this. If you like this video, comment down below. Would you like me to make more videos about relationships or about sexuality? I love talking about the human being. You let me know what you want me to talk about next on the comment section down below. And share this video that needs an eye-opener to let them know that they're not such bad people, because we're all trying our best. In quarantine, because if you haven't noticed, I'm inside, but it's not because I want to. Okay, I'm freaking out. Okay, so this was Jade. You just watched. This was Jade. You just watched. My English is good, I promise. I'm Jade, and you just watched Marshmallow Effect. Thank you.